Ethan Cole stepped off the small shuttle onto the dusty surface of Karath, his boots sinking slightly into the soft gray soil. The sky was a dull amber, thick clouds swirling across it, casting long shadows over jagged rock formations. Ethan pulled his jacket tighter around his shoulders. The wind was colder than he expected. He took a deep breath, feeling the thin, sharp air fill his lungs. Karath was supposed to be abandoned, a dead planet, a place left to legends and myths, but something about it felt alive. The shuttle had dropped him near the ruins that had been his mission from the start. Terran Research Division had picked him because he was brave or stubborn, depending on who you asked. His job was simple: investigate the ancient ruins, gather samples, and return. Simple, but not easy. Every step he took was filled with unease. The ruins were old, older than any human record. Stones arranged in strange patterns, some as large as houses, others small, etched with lines and symbols no one could understand. Even from a distance, they gave Ethan the feeling that they were watching him. He walked carefully, his boots crunching over broken fragments of stone. The wind whistled through the gaps in the ruins, making the air feel alive. Ethan activated his portable scanner. It beeped and clicked, its small light blinking on the ruins. Nothing. No life, no energy readings, nothing except the faint hum of the wind. Ethan frowned. That did not match what he had read in the reports. The ruins were supposed to be dead, yes, but somehow alive in the old records. Somehow waiting. He moved deeper into the ruins, stepping over fallen columns. Some of the stones were carved with faces rough and jagged, staring as if they were judging him. Ethan could feel his heart beat faster. He reminded himself that it was just the wind, the shadows, and the silence that made his imagination run wild. He had worked in dangerous places before, seen strange and deadly things, but Karath felt different. The silence was heavy, pressing down on him. Ethan's light caught something unusual ahead. A small tunnel, narrow and dark, had opened between two massive stones. It was barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through, but it looked old. Very old. The edges of the stone were smooth, like water had passed over them for centuries. He approached slowly, scanning with his light and instruments. No readings, no movement. Yet the air felt different here, warmer somehow, carrying a faint vibration. Ethan's skin tingled. He paused, listening. A soft hum filled the tunnel. It was quiet at first, almost like the sound of the wind, but it grew slightly louder. Ethan froze. He checked his scanner. Still nothing. No life forms, no energy pulses. The hum continued low and steady, almost like a heartbeat. Ethan swallowed hard. He wanted to leave, to turn back to the shuttle and report this, but curiosity rooted him to the spot. Scientists like him did not run from the unknown. They followed it. Taking a deep breath, Ethan stepped into the tunnel. The walls glowed faintly as he moved deeper. Strange symbols were etched into the stone, glowing softly under his light. He knelt to study them, tracing a finger over the lines. They were smooth, almost alive. The glow pulsed gently, like a rhythm, as if the tunnel itself were breathing. Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. He straightened and moved forward, his heart racing. The tunnel opened into a large chamber. Ethan gasped. The room was vast, wider than any hall he had ever seen. The walls curved high above, carved with more symbols, glowing brighter here. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, and upon it lay a small crystalline object. It glowed with a soft, pale light. Ethan stepped closer, the hum of the tunnel now echoing louder in the chamber. It felt alive. He could not explain why, but he knew that whatever this object was, it was important. As he reached out to touch the crystal, the light in the chamber shifted. The glow spread across the walls, creating shapes that moved and danced. The symbols seemed to respond to his presence, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. Ethan froze. He had studied alien artifacts before, but he had never seen anything like this. It was as if the ruins themselves were aware of him, watching him, waiting. Suddenly a soft voice spoke. It was not loud, not even a shout, just a whisper that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Human?" Ethan's eyes widened. He spun around, scanning the chamber. There was no one. The voice repeated, clearer this time, soft but commanding. "Do not be afraid." Ethan's hands shook. He had trained himself to remain calm in dangerous situations, but this was beyond training. "Who's there?" he asked, his voice echoing slightly in the vast room. Silence answered him, but the glow in the symbols brightened as if acknowledging him. Ethan felt a strange pull, an invisible force urging him forward. Against all reason, he moved closer to the center of the chamber. Then she appeared. From behind the pedestal, a figure stepped out. Ethan froze completely. She was tall, taller than most humans, with skin that shone like silver under the light of the symbols. Her eyes glowed like liquid amber, warm yet piercing. Her hair floated gently around her face, moving as if underwater, though the air was still. She wore a flowing robe that seemed made of light itself, shifting and shimmering with every movement. Ethan could not speak. He only stared, unable to believe what he saw. This was no ghost, no hologram. This was real, and she was alive. "You've come," she said softly. Her voice was beautiful, musical, almost hypnotic. "I have waited so long." Ethan swallowed hard. Who are you?" His voice was barely audible. "I am Kalis," she said, stepping closer. Her movements were smooth, almost gliding. "Daughter of the eternal throne of Karath." Ethan's mind raced. The report said the Karathians were extinct. Long gone, legends only. How could she be standing in front of him? He wanted to ask more, to speak, but words failed him. His body felt frozen. Kalis smiled slightly, as if reading his thoughts. "You do not understand," she said. "This place, it is not dead, it waits, and it has called you." Ethan took a step back. "Called me? I don't understand. I'm just a human, an explorer. I didn't mean to. Wake anything." Kalis's eyes softened. "You do not wake what sleeps without reason. You were chosen, though you know it not. The ruin sensed your presence. Your kind carries the spark of origin. It is rare, even among humans. It has drawn me from my slumber." Ethan's mind spun. Spark of origin? Chosen? Slumber? None of it made sense. But as he looked at her, he felt a strange warmth in his chest. A pull he could not explain. Something about her presence was magnetic, almost familiar, like he had known her all his life. I don't know what to say," he admitted. "I've never seen anything like this." Kalis moved closer, her steps silent. The symbols on the walls pulsed faster, glowing brighter with each beat of his heart. "Then say nothing," she whispered. "Let the ruins speak for themselves." Ethan nodded slowly, still unable to move fully. He felt the hum of the chamber enter his body, vibrating through his bones. It was gentle but insistent, like a heartbeat syncing with his own. He realized that the ruins, the symbols, and Kalis were all connected in ways he could not understand. "Come," she said, gesturing to a narrow passage on the far side of the chamber. "I will show you what lies beyond, but you must trust me." Ethan hesitated. Trust her? He had no idea who or what she truly was, and yet some part of him felt that he had no choice. Every instinct in his body screamed to run, to leave this place forever, but he could not move. The pull was stronger than fear. Finally he nodded. "I will follow," he said, his voice steady now, though his heart still raced. Kalis smiled, a small, gentle smile that made the chamber feel warmer, less threatening. She extended her hand toward him. Ethan took it, feeling a strange energy pass between them. The glow of the symbols responded instantly, shimmering like water under sunlight. As they walked deeper into the ruins together, Ethan realized that this mission was no longer about science or discovery. It was about survival, about understanding, and perhaps about something far greater than he could imagine. He did not know what awaited him, but one thing was certain. Karath was not abandoned, and the alien standing beside him was unlike anything the universe had ever shown humanity. The wind outside howled against the ruins, but inside, the chamber hummed with life. And for the first time, Ethan felt that he was not alone on Karath. He had crossed a threshold from which there was no return, and everything he thought he knew about the universe was about to change. Ethan followed Kalis through the narrow passage. The walls were smooth and cool under his fingertips, and the soft glow from her body lit the path ahead. The hum of the ruins seemed louder here, echoing through the corridor like a living heartbeat. Every step he took made him feel lighter, as if the air itself were alive. He kept glancing at her, unable to stop staring. She moved with a calm grace, her silver skin glowing softly, eyes shining like molten amber. He could not believe that something so alien could exist. You are really alive," Ethan said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought Karath was abandoned, that your people were extinct." Kalis glanced at him, her expression gentle. "We were," she said softly. "Most of my people have been gone for 1,000 cycles. Only I remain, sleeping within the ruins until someone worthy arrives. You are that someone, human." Ethan swallowed hard. "Worthy?" He shook his head slightly. "I'm just an explorer. I didn't do anything special. I didn't even know this planet existed before I was sent here." Kayla stopped and looked at him directly. You were sent here, yes, but not by chance. The spark within you called to me. Your kind carries something rare, something that resonates with the essence of Karath itself. Without it, these ruins would remain silent forever. Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. He did not understand what she meant. Spark, essence? Karath calling to him? His mind was spinning, full of questions he could not put into words. He wanted to ask, but when he looked at her, he felt a strange calm, as if some part of the answer was already within him, waiting to be discovered. They continued walking, the tunnel opening into a larger chamber. This one was wider and taller, the ceiling arched like the rib of a giant beast. Strange plants grew along the walls, though they were not plants he recognized. Their leaves shimmered like crystal, reflecting the soft glow from Kalis. The air was warm here, carrying a faint scent that reminded Ethan of rain on stone. He felt a little dizzy from the beauty of it, and from the feeling that he had never been truly alone in the universe before this moment. Kalis stopped in the center of the chamber. Her eyes scanned the walls, and the symbols there began to shift and move, rearranging themselves. These ruins speak, she said. They have been waiting to speak. And now, with your presence, they can. Ethan watched in awe. The symbols glowed brighter, forming patterns he could not understand. Some shapes looked like maps, others like diagrams, and yet others like living creatures. The walls pulsed in rhythm with the hum of the chamber, and Ethan realized that the entire place was alive. Not alive in the sense of plants or animals, but alive in thought, energy, and memory. Alive, he asked. You mean the ruins are sentient? Kalis nodded slowly. Yes, but they are fading. My people were once the caretakers of this world. We kept the ruins alive, connected to the spark of origin. When my people disappeared, the ruins began to sleep. Only a being with the spark can awaken them fully. Ethan felt his chest tighten. Spark of origin. He still did not know what it meant. And I have this spark? Kalis stepped closer, reaching out her hand. Yes, it is part of your essence, part of what makes humans unique. You do not know it yet, but it is why you can walk here unharmed, why the ruins recognize you. Other humans cannot do this. Ethan looked at his own hands. Nothing seemed different. He shook his head. I don't feel special. I'm just me, Kalis smiled softly. That is why the spark is hidden. It is quiet, waiting for the right moment. You have not been taught to notice it, but it is there. And it responds to courage, compassion, and the willingness to act. That is why it called you. Ethan blinked. He wanted to speak, but the words would not come. He felt small, but also important in a way he could not understand. Kalis studied him with those glowing eyes, and for the first time, he noticed something different in her expression. There was hope there, but also a sadness he could not explain. Why? Why are you alone? He asked finally. All your people gone? Kalis's glow dimmed slightly. She sat down on a raised platform near the center of the chamber. Yes, she said quietly. When the Great War came, my people fought to protect the spark and this world. They succeeded, but at a cost. My people were destroyed. I was put into stasis, waiting for someone to awaken the ruins again. I did not think anyone would come. Ethan felt a pang in his chest. He had seen war, destruction, and loss, but nothing like this. A whole civilization wiped out, leaving only one survivor. He wanted to say something, to comfort her, but he could not find words. Instead, he sat quietly, listening to the soft hum of the chamber. After a moment, Kalis stood. Come, she said. I will show you more. You must see the heart of Kareth. Ethan followed, his curiosity stronger than his fear. The passage ahead opened into a spiral staircase carved from stone, glowing faintly under Kalis's light. The steps were narrow but steady. They climbed higher into the ruins, and Ethan felt the energy of the place grow stronger with every step. The hum was louder here, vibrating through his bones, filling him with warmth and power. When they reached the top, the staircase opened into a circular platform. From here, Ethan could see the ruins stretched out beneath him. The stones formed patterns like constellations, glowing faintly. In the distance, the mountains rose like teeth against the amber sky. The wind carried a faint sound like whispers of the past, of voices long gone. Kalis turned to him. This is the center of Karath, she said. From here, the spark can reach the farthest corners of the world. From here, we can awaken the ruins fully. Ethan looked at her, feeling the weight of what she said. Awaken the ruins? What does that mean? Kalis extended her hand. It means to bring them back to life, to restore what was lost. But it cannot happen without your spark. You are the key, human, and I need your help. Ethan swallowed hard. He wanted to run, to tell her he was just an explorer, that he could not do anything important, but something in him, something he had never felt before, stirred. He wanted to help. He wanted to be part of something greater than himself. He looked at Kalis and nodded. I'll try, he said. Kalis smiled, and for a moment the chamber seemed to shine brighter. The hum grew louder, filling the air like a song. Ethan felt energy flow into him, warm and strange, like electricity and sunlight combined. His hands tingled, and he realized the spark within him was responding. The ruins were alive, and they were alive because of him. Good, Kalis said softly. We must go further. There is a place deeper in the ruins where the spark is strongest. There you will understand everything. But the path is dangerous. Many have tried before and failed. Ethan's heart raced. Dangerous or not, he could not turn back now. He had come too far, and besides, he could not leave Kalis alone in this silent world. He followed her as she led the way down a narrow corridor, carved with glowing symbols that pulsed with life. Every step felt heavier and lighter at the same time, as if the ruins themselves were supporting him. As they moved, Kalis spoke again. Your kind has always been curious, human. That is why you survive. That is why you are here. Other races might fear the unknown, but humans face it. That is why the spark chose you. Ethan felt a strange pride mixed with fear. He was not a hero. He was just a man, but somehow in this place he felt more than he had ever felt on Earth. He felt alive. He felt important. And he felt that for the first time in his life, he belonged somewhere beyond the stars. The corridor ended at a heavy stone door. It was carved with symbols he had never seen before, glowing faintly like a heartbeat. Kalis placed her hand on the door, and the symbols flared brightly. The door slid open silently, revealing a chamber bathed in golden light. Ethan stepped inside, shielding his eyes. The room was filled with crystals that floated in the air, spinning slowly. Light passed through them and created patterns on the walls, moving like water. The hum here was almost deafening, vibrating in his chest and making his vision blur. This is the heart of Karath, Kalis said. Here, you will see the truth of the spark and the truth of your kind. Ethan looked around, speechless. He had seen wonders on many worlds, but nothing like this. The energy here was alive, almost conscious, and it responded to his presence. He could feel it pulling at him, speaking to him without words. Kalis stepped closer, her eyes glowing brighter. Are you ready, human? Ethan nodded. Yes, I want to understand, she smiled. Then take my hand. The spark will guide us both. As he took her hand, energy surged through him like lightning and warmth combined. The chamber pulsed, and Ethan felt something deep within him awaken. He saw flashes of Karath's past, of its people, of wars and victories, of creation and loss. And through it all he felt a connection he had never imagined possible. For the first time he understood. He was not just a visitor, he was part of this world now, part of its story and part of its future. Ethan felt the energy surge through his body as he held Kalis's hand. The crystals around them spun faster, sending light dancing across the walls. The hum of the chamber was louder now, filling every corner with a deep vibration. Ethan stumbled, slightly, but Kalis steadied him with a gentle touch. Focus, human. Kalis said softly. The spark is alive within you. Feel it. Do not fight it. Ethan nodded, trying to concentrate. He could feel the warmth moving through his chest, spreading to his arms and legs. It was not like anything he had felt on Earth. It was not electricity or heat, not wind or pressure. It was life. Pure, pulsing life, connected to everything in the chamber. As he focused, he saw images flash before his eyes. Crystals forming in the darkness, mountains rising, forests growing, cities of light and then war, bright flashes, screams, and destruction. He realized he was seeing Karath's history through the spark. The visions were overwhelming, but somehow he understood them. This was the story of a world that had been alive long before humans existed, a civilization that had reached heights humans could not imagine and had fallen because of its own enemies. Kalis's voice broke through the visions. Do not be afraid. You are seeing the truth, but it is not too late. With the spark, you can help restore Karath. You can bring balance back. Ethan blinked, trying to catch his breath. I I don't know if I can. It's too much. I'm just one human. Kalis shook her head. One human is enough. The spark does not need armies or weapons. It needs understanding, courage, and action. You have all three. You just need to trust yourself. Ethan swallowed hard. He did not feel ready, but looking at Kalis, looking at the beauty and power around him, he knew she was right. He took a deep breath and focused on the energy within him. Slowly, he felt it respond, moving in rhythm with the crystals around them. The hum grew louder, as if the ruins themselves were waking. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Ethan grabbed Kalis's hand tightly. The crystals spun faster, and the light became blinding. From the shadows at the edges of the chamber, dark shapes began to move. They were unlike anything he had seen before. Tall, armored figures with glowing eyes moving silently, blocking the exits. Guardians, Kalis whispered. They protect the heart of Karath. They will test you. Ethan's heart pounded. The figures advanced slowly, their movements precise, almost mechanical. He felt fear rising, but he pushed it down, focusing on the spark. He could feel its warmth guiding him, giving him strength. Kalis stepped in front of him, her glow brighter than ever. They will not harm you if you trust the spark, she said. But you must act. Follow my lead. The Guardians raised their arms and beams of energy shot toward them. Ethan barely had time to react. He reached out instinctively, and a wave of light erupted from him, hitting the nearest Guardian. It staggered, then dissolved into a cloud of sparks. Ethan blinked, amazed. The spark had responded to him, protecting him. Kalis smiled. Good. Now move forward. Do not hesitate. Ethan followed her, moving through the chamber as the Guardians attacked. Each time they fired, he raised his hands, and the energy of the spark blocked them. He realized he could control it, at least a little. The warmth spread through his body, and he felt stronger with every step. They reached the center of the chamber, where a large crystal floated above a pedestal. It pulsed with golden light, brighter than anything Ethan had ever seen. The Guardians tried to block them, but Kalis raised her hand, and a wave of energy pushed them back. This is the core, Kalis said, her voice calm but urgent. The heart of Karath. With it, the spark can awaken the ruins fully, but you must touch it. Only you can complete the bond. Ethan looked at the crystal. It was beautiful, but intimidating. The light was almost blinding, and the hum in his chest was now a roar. He felt small, but Kalis's presence beside him gave him courage. Are you ready? She asked. Ethan nodded. I'm ready. He stepped forward and placed his hands on the crystal. Instantly, energy shot through him, bright and warm, almost unbearable. The hum became a roar, shaking the chamber. The Guardians paused as if unsure what to do. Ethan's vision blurred, and he felt as if he were floating, not on the ground, but in the air, in the light, in everything at once. He saw Karath's history more clearly now. The rise of the cities, the beauty of the people, the wars, the fall, and then the silence. He understood that the spark was not just in him, but in all humans, a fragment of Karath's power that had been waiting for someone to awaken it. And now he was that someone. Kalis's hand found his. She guided him, whispering softly, Trust the spark. You are the bridge between your world and mine. You can restore what was lost. You can bring life back to Karath. Ethan focused, letting the energy flow. Light shot from his hands into the crystal, and the chamber erupted in brilliance. The walls, the floors, the ceiling, everything pulsed with life. The dark shapes of the Guardians dissolved into light, becoming part of the energy. The plants. Along the walls glowed leaves shimmering with colors he had never seen before. It was beautiful. It was overwhelming. And it was alive. Ethan felt a connection he had never felt before. He was part of the ruins, and the ruins were part of him. The hum in his chest became a song, a rhythm of life that connected everything. He looked at Kalis, and she smiled, her glow matching the crystal's brilliance. You've done it, she said softly. The ruins are alive again. Karath will live. Ethan smiled weakly. I didn't know I could do this. Kayla stepped closer, her eyes glowing warmly. You could. The spark chose you because it knew you had courage even if you did not know it yourself. That is the power of humanity, Ethan. Your kind never gives up. Your kind never stops reaching for the unknown. Ethan felt a strange pride mixed with awe. He had never thought of humans as special. He had never believed they could do more than survive. But now, holding Kalis's hand, seeing the ruins awaken, he understood. Humanity was stronger than he had imagined. Suddenly, a rumble shook the chamber. The light flickered and the energy pulsed violently. Ethan stumbled, holding on to Kalis. What is happening? He asked, panic rising. Kalis frowned. The core is unstable. The spark has awakened the ruins, but there are consequences. Not all of Karath's guardians accepted the change. Some remain, angry and defensive. We must leave before they return in force. Ethan nodded, gripping her hand tightly. They turned to leave, but the corridor they had entered was blocked. Dark figures emerged from the shadows, taller and faster than before. They moved with purpose, clearly intending to stop them. Run! Kalis shouted, her glow brightening to full intensity. She raised her hands, firing waves of energy to push the guardians back. Ethan ran beside her, feeling the spark within him respond automatically. Light shot from his hands, blocking the guardians, protecting them as they moved. The path twisted and turned, and the guardians pursued relentlessly. Ethan realized that the ruins were alive not just in the chambers but everywhere. Energy from the walls responded to the spark, creating temporary shields, pushing obstacles aside, guiding them. He had never felt so powerful, yet so responsible. Finally, they reached a landing near the surface. Kalis paused, breathing heavily. We made it, she said. But this is only the beginning. Karath is waking, but there are forces that do not want it to live again. You must be ready, Ethan. You must learn to control the spark fully. Only then can we protect this world, and perhaps yours too. Ethan nodded, exhaustion and exhilaration mixing in his body. He looked at the glowing ruins beneath them, the sky above, and the alien standing beside him. For the first time, he understood that his life had changed forever. He was no longer just a human explorer. He was part of something bigger, something extraordinary. Kalis smiled at him, her amber eyes shining. Rest for now, she said. Tomorrow, the real journey begins. Ethan took a deep breath, looking out over the ruins. The light from the core spread through the valley below, illuminating patterns he could not understand but feeling more alive than ever. He had awakened Karath. He had touched the spark, and he had no idea what challenges awaited him next. But he knew he would face them, not alone. For the first time in his life, he felt hope. Ethan woke to a dim light filtering through the cracks of the ruins above. He stretched, feeling the strange energy of Karath still thrumming through him. Even after hours of rest, his body felt alive, buzzing with the spark he now carried. Kalis was already awake, sitting near the edge of the chamber, her glowing eyes scanning the walls. You slept well, she said softly. The spark heals and strengthens you when you rest. Ethan rubbed his eyes. I feel different, stronger, but tired too. Is it always like this? Kalis shook her head. At first it will feel strange. The spark responds to your emotions, your thoughts, your actions. You are learning to control it. That is why you must practice. Today we move deeper into the ruins. Ethan nodded, though his stomach twisted with a mix of excitement and fear. He had awakened Karath, but the Guardians had not stopped pursuing them. And if the core was unstable, as Kalis said yesterday, they were not safe. They left the chamber together, moving through winding corridors lined with glowing symbols. The walls pulsed gently under their hands. The ruins seemed alive everywhere, guiding their steps, warning them of danger. Ethan marveled at the patterns, realizing that each one told a story. The hum in the air was now familiar, a constant companion as they walked. This place, Ethan began, his voice low. It's incredible. I can't believe it was hidden for so long. Kalis smiled faintly. Many have tried to enter, but few survived. Karath does not reveal itself easily. It tests those who enter, judging their worth. You passed the first test, but the deeper chambers are more dangerous. You must be ready, Ethan swallowed. What kind of tests? Kalis looked at him seriously. Not all the Guardians accept the spark. Some are still programmed to destroy intruders. Some are bound by anger, jealousy, or old grudges. Others are tied to ancient traps and energies that can harm even the strongest human. We must be careful. Ethan nodded, his nerves tightening. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. And yet a part of him was exhilarated. He had awakened Karath. He had felt the spark in his veins. And now he was about to see more of what this world had to offer, if he survived. As they moved, the corridor widened into a large hall. Pillars of glowing crystal stretched from floor to ceiling, spinning slowly, casting colorful lights across the walls. Ethan stopped, staring in awe. This is amazing, Kalis nodded. The energy here is strong. It flows from the core, spreading life through the ruins. The Guardians are attracted to it. That is why we must be cautious. Some of them will appear at any moment. Ethan's heart raced as he looked around. He could feel the spark within him responding to the energy, vibrating, pulling at his senses. It was almost overwhelming. But Kalis reached out and touched his arm. Her hand was warm, grounding him. Focus, she whispered. Trust the spark, it will guide you. They moved carefully, step by step. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the hall. Ethan froze. From the shadows between the pillars, dark shapes began to emerge. The Guardians. They were taller and more powerful than yesterday, their armor gleaming in the crystal light. Their eyes glowed red, and their movements were fast, precise, and deadly. Ethan, prepare yourself, Kalis said, her glow intensifying. We must face them together. The Guardians advanced, their weapons firing beams of energy. Ethan raised his hands instinctively, feeling the spark respond. Light shot from his palms, blocking the attacks. The force pushed him back slightly, but he steadied himself. Kalis moved beside him, firing waves of energy from her hands. Together, they pushed the Guardians back. Ethan realized he could control the spark more now. He felt the energy inside him, listening, responding to his thoughts. He could push, pull, and block, creating shields and bursts of light. Every movement Kalis made seemed to guide him, teaching him without words. The battle was intense. The Guardians attacked from every angle, fast and relentless. Ethan felt fear, but he also felt strength. The spark was alive in him, alive because he had trusted it. He moved with it, directing energy where it was needed. Kalis's hands glowed beside him, her voice calm and steady, guiding him through the chaos. Finally, the last Guardian fell, dissolving into a cloud of sparks that joined the energy around them. Ethan fell to his knees, exhausted but exhilarated. Kalis approached, placing a hand on his shoulder. You are learning, she said softly. The spark responds to courage and clarity of thought. You are doing well, human. Ethan nodded, catching his breath. It's amazing. I didn't know I could do this, Kalis smiled faintly. Few humans ever discover their full potential. You are special, Ethan. That is why you were chosen. Ethan looked around at the hall, the spinning crystals, the energy that now filled the air. He realized how alive Karath was, how much power flowed through every stone, every symbol, every pulse of light. He had never imagined anything like it. Kalis guided him toward a staircase leading deeper into the ruins. The walls were covered with more symbols, glowing brighter as they descended. Ethan felt the spark reacting more strongly, pulling him forward. It was almost as if the ruins themselves were calling to him, urging him to continue. At the bottom of the stairs, they entered a chamber unlike any other. The ceiling arched high above, covered in crystalline formations that refracted light in thousands of directions. The floor was smooth, polished, and glowing faintly beneath their feet. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, empty except for a faint shimmer of light hovering above it. This is the Chamber of Trials, Kalis said. Here your bond with the spark will be tested. You must face what lies within yourself to continue. Only then can we awaken the deeper ruins. Ethan felt a knot of fear in his stomach. What kind of test? Kalis's eyes glowed. The spark shows what you carry in your heart. Your fears, your doubts, your memories. You must face them and overcome them. Only then will you be ready to proceed. Ethan took a deep breath. He had faced danger. He had fought Guardians. He had controlled the spark in battle. But this was different. This was inside him, and he could not run from it. He looked at Kalis, her calm presence steadying him. Are you ready? She asked. Ethan nodded, though his hands trembled. I'll try, Kayla stepped aside. The light from the pedestal grew, enveloping Ethan in warmth. Images began to form around him. First memories of Earth, his home, his family, his friends. Then fears he had never spoken aloud, failing missions, losing people he cared about, never being strong enough. The images pressed on him, overwhelming him. Ethan fell to his knees, the spark inside him flaring in response. He could feel the energy testing him, probing his mind and heart. He remembered Kalis's words: courage, clarity, trust. He focused, taking deep breaths, letting the spark flow through him instead of fighting it. Slowly, the images shifted. They became challenges. Visions of the Guardians, visions of Karath in ruin, visions of himself failing and letting the world die again. He faced each one, calling upon the spark, using it to push back the darkness. Each time he succeeded, the light around him grew brighter, the hum stronger. Hours seemed to pass, though it could have been minutes or days. Ethan felt his strength waning, but he kept going, pushing through fear, doubt, and exhaustion. Kalis's voice was steady, a guide in the storm. Do not stop. Trust yourself. Trust the spark. Finally, the light around him surged. The images dissolved, leaving him standing in the chamber of trials, exhausted but triumphant. The spark within him felt calm now, steady, fully awakened. He looked at Kalis, who smiled, her glow soft and warm. You have passed, she said. The bond is complete. You are ready for what lies ahead. The deeper ruins await, and with your spark we can awaken Karath fully. But the dangers will grow. You must be vigilant, and you must trust yourself. Ethan nodded, feeling a new sense of confidence. He had faced his fears, controlled the spark, and survived. He felt stronger, braver, and more alive than ever before. Kalis extended her hand. Come, we have work to do. Karath is waking, and there is much to see. The journey is far from over. But together we are stronger than anything that stands against us. Ethan took her hand, feeling the spark pulse between them. He looked around the chamber one last time, taking in the beauty, the power, the life that now filled the ruins. He knew the path ahead would be dangerous, but he also knew he was ready. As they moved deeper into the ruins, the light of the core behind them casting long shadows, Ethan realized one thing clearly. He was no longer just a human. He was part of Karath, part of its story, and part of its future. And whatever dangers lay ahead, he would face them, together with Kalis and with the spark alive in his heart. The ruins were alive. The Guardians had tested them, the spark had awakened, and now the real journey had begun. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the hum of the energy around him. Kalis's hand in his was steady and warm. He did not know what awaited them in the deeper chambers, but he knew one thing. He would not turn back. He would face whatever came, and he would protect Kalis and Karath with everything he had. And as the two of them disappeared into the depths of the glowing ruins, the light of the core pulsed behind them, brighter than ever, as if the planet itself had taken a deep, long breath. Ethan and Kalis moved carefully through the deeper ruins. The halls were narrower here, carved from smooth stone, glowing faintly from the energy still flowing through Karath. The hum of the spark in Ethan's chest guided him, making him feel alive and aware of every step. He had learned to control the energy now, to sense the paths and dangers that lay ahead, but even so, a part of him was still wary. Are we close to the center? Ethan asked, his voice echoing slightly in the corridor. Kalis nodded. Yes, the deepest chamber lies ahead. It is there that the final test waits. That is where the Guardians who still resist the spark dwell, and that is where Karath's true power sleeps. Ethan swallowed hard. The final test. He had already faced the Guardians, awakened the spark, and survived the trials of his heart. But Kalis's words reminded him that nothing in Karath was simple. Danger was always near, waiting in the shadows. As they continued, the walls seemed to narrow and the hum grew louder. The air itself felt charged, vibrating under Ethan's skin. He could feel the ruins responding to him, the spark guiding him like a compass. The corridors twisted and turned, leading them through chambers filled with floating crystals, glowing vines, and strange symbols that moved like liquid. Suddenly, the corridor opened into a massive hall. Ethan stopped, staring in awe. The room was vast, far larger than any he had seen. At its center floated a gigantic crystal, glowing with a pure golden light that pulsed like a heartbeat. The floor beneath it was carved with symbols glowing faintly, and around it the air shimmered as if reality itself bent around the power. This is it, Kayla said softly, her eyes fixed on the crystal. The heart of Karath. Here lies the true challenge. The Guardians will not let us approach without a fight. Ethan's chest tightened. The Guardians were waiting. He could sense them, dark shadows moving at the edges of the light. They were taller, faster, and stronger than any he had faced before. Their glowing red eyes stared directly at him, and Ethan felt a surge of fear. Kalis placed a hand on his arm. Do not fear. We are stronger together. Trust the spark. Trust yourself. Ethan nodded, taking a deep breath. He felt the energy in him rise, pulsing with warmth and light. The spark had been growing stronger since the Chamber of Trials, and now it felt almost alive. He could sense the Guardians, anticipate their movements, and respond with precision. The first Guardian struck, rushing forward with incredible speed. Ethan raised his hands, sending a wave of energy that pushed the figure back. Kalis moved beside him, her own energy flaring brightly. Together they fought, blocking and attacking in perfect harmony. One by one, the Guardians advanced, but each one fell under the combined power of Ethan's spark and Kalis's energy. The fight was exhausting, relentless, but Ethan felt no fear now. He had learned to control the spark, to let it flow through him, to use it not just for defense, but for strength. Finally, only one Guardian remained. It was massive, taller than the others, its armor glowing darker, almost black. Its eyes burned with fury, and it advanced with terrifying speed. Ethan felt the spark in him flare wildly, almost as if it recognized the danger and responded. Kalis's eyes glowed brightly. This is the last test, Ethan. You must face it alone. I can guide you, but the spark will choose your path. Ethan swallowed hard, feeling the weight of responsibility. He nodded. I understand. I'll do it. The Guardian struck, its massive arm swinging toward him. Ethan raised his hands, letting the spark flow freely. Energy burst from his body, creating a shield that absorbed the strike. The force of the blow pushed him back, but he steadied himself. The spark hummed, guiding him, telling him how to move, where to strike, what to do. He struck next, sending a concentrated wave of light toward the Guardian. It staggered but did not fall. It moved again, faster, stronger, aiming directly for him. Ethan dodged, letting the spark flow through his movements, reacting before he even thought. The Guardian attacked again and again, each strike more powerful. But Ethan responded with speed, precision, and strength he did not know he possessed. Finally, he saw an opening. The spark surged through him brighter than ever, and he struck the Guardian's chest. Energy flared, surrounding the figure in a blinding light. When the glow faded, the Guardian was gone, dissolved into sparks that joined the energy of the heart of Karath. Ethan fell to his knees, exhausted but triumphant. His hands shook. His breath came in ragged gasps, but he felt a warmth and power unlike anything before. Kalis approached, her glowing hands resting gently on his shoulders. You have done it, she said softly. You have faced the last Guardian. The spark within you has awakened fully. Karath is alive again. Ethan looked at the heart of Karath. The massive crystal pulsed with golden light, spreading through the ruins, reaching every corner of the world. He felt the energy flowing into him, connecting him to the planet, to Kalis, to the ruins themselves. It was overwhelming, beautiful, and powerful. Kalis's eyes softened as she looked at him. Ethan, you have no idea what you have done. You have given life back to my people, to this world. You have become part of Karath. Ethan shook his head, still trying to process everything. I didn't do it alone. You were with me. You guided me. Kalis smiled. Yes, but the spark chose you. I could guide, but you made the choice. You faced the Guardians, the trials, and your own fears. That is why you succeeded. Ethan felt a wave of pride and humility. He had always thought humans were fragile, small, and weak compared to the vast universe. But now he understood. The spark was proof of something greater in humanity. Courage, determination, and the will to survive and protect. As they stood there, the ruins around them seemed to respond. Crystals floated higher, the glow spreading like sunlight. The symbols on the walls moved, telling stories of Karath's past and future. Ethan realized that he could feel the entire planet's heartbeat, the energy connecting everything. Kalis. He began, unsure of what to say. What happens now? What do we do with all this power? Kalis stepped closer, taking his hands in hers. We protect it. Karath is alive, but there are others who would seek to control it. We must be its guardians together, and you, human, are now its protector too. Ethan felt warmth spread through him at her words. He looked at her glowing eyes, feeling something more than friendship, more than duty. There was a connection between them, deep and unspoken. A bond formed through the trials, the battles, and the spark itself. Before he could say anything, the heart of Kareth pulsed brighter, and a vision appeared in the light. Ethan saw the planet as it could be. Cities of glowing crystal, forests of shimmering plants, rivers of liquid light, and the people of Kareth returning, awakened by the spark. It was beautiful, alive, and full of hope. Kalis squeezed his hands. This is your gift, Ethan. Your courage and your spark made this possible. Kareth will thrive again, and we will protect it together. But we must be ready. The universe is vast, and not all who see Kareth will want it alive. Ethan nodded, determination filling him. I'll protect it. I'll protect you. We'll face whatever comes, together. Kalis smiled, her glow softening, warm and comforting. That is all I need to hear. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the heart of Kareth pulse with life. Ethan felt a sense of peace he had never known. The fear, the doubt, the loneliness. All of it had been replaced with purpose, connection, and the energy of a world reborn. Then, Kalis stepped closer, her eyes locking onto his. Ethan, there is one more choice you must make. He looked at her, puzzled. Choice? What do you mean? Kalis's glow brightened slightly. The spark can merge with your essence, binding us together. It will strengthen the connection, protect Kareth even more, and allow us to guide this world side by side. But it is permanent. Once done, there is no turning back. Ethan felt his heart race. A permanent bond? It was terrifying and exhilarating. He looked at Kalis, remembering the battles, the trials, and how she had trusted him, guided him, and believed in him. He realized he trusted her completely. I want to, he said finally, his voice steady. I trust you. I want to protect Kareth, and I want to be with you. Kalis smiled, her amber eyes glowing with warmth. Then take my hand. Ethan stepped forward, reaching for her hand. As their hands touched, the spark within him surged, flowing into her and the heart of Kareth. The light around them grew blinding, energy pulsing through the ruins, through the planet, through everything. Ethan felt himself lifted, not by gravity, but by the pure force of life. He was connected to Kareth, to Kalis, to the spark itself. When the light finally faded, Ethan opened his eyes. The ruins were alive, glowing softly. The guardians had disappeared, now part of the energy, peaceful and protective. Kalis stood beside him, her glow soft and steady, her hand in his. You did it, she whispered. Together we did it. Ethan nodded, feeling a sense of completeness he had never known. He looked at Kalis, feeling more than admiration or gratitude. He felt connection, belonging, and love. The world. Kareth, he began. Kalis smiled. It is alive, and we will protect it. You have proven that humanity is capable of great courage and strength. The universe may underestimate your kind, but not here, not now. Ethan felt pride and awe swell in him. He had awakened a world. He had faced impossible dangers,